Hi everyone, Brian from Bearable Traders here. It is Sunday, March 22nd. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. Mine's been a little bit low key, I think, as most people's has been. If you're sort of harboring inside, staying away from other people, social distancing, etc. So, my suggestion basically is try to think of some things that you haven't done before that you maybe have put off, maybe you thought of doing before, learning to play guitar. I'm just throwing that out there. I play a terrible guitar, but I'm starting to think I maybe should try to pick it up again and strum a few notes. Or, read that book that you've always been wanting to read, that kind of stuff. So just, try to figure out a constructive way to use this time that we're having to spend more isolated, I guess, if you want to call it that, and keep your sanity and just keep looking forward. Try not to look back, look forward. There will be a day when we'll be through this, and that's a good way to keep your perspective on things. So after that, let's just take a look at what the market looked like on Friday. You can see here, I think a lot of this reaction, it looked like the Dow was going to push higher, I think, during the day, or at some point there was a hedge fund that announced that they couldn't meet their capital requirements. So they immediately came in and auctioned off the assets, which is what they do. But then I think that sent a chill to the market. But that's just another sign that the way I look at that is another sign that maybe we are getting close here to a bottom, because usually that's one of the signs that starts to show up when you start having these hedge funds, one or two hedge funds basically blow up, and we'll see if there's more to come here. But there is going to be a rally at some point. I'm starting to think maybe it might be this week, just because we are so oversold and we may get a bounce here. I don't think it'll be the bottom, but I'll be looking for more of a W-shaped reversal than a V reversal here. Just too much damage has been done. So anyway, yeah, let's take a look at the markets again. We had the big sell-off on Friday. There was no screaming bear market rally into the close like there was last Friday. Kind of went out on pretty close to the lows of the day on all the indexes. Not very constructive. So let's just take a look at some of the charts. We'll start with not the ETFs. Let's start with the indexes, transports. And I'll point out a lot of stocks here that I think are starting to put in a bottom, and we're going to gap down tomorrow by the looks of it, with no deal on the bailout, or whatever you want to call it. Looked like they couldn't reach a deal here Sunday, and the vote failed at 6 p.m. So we'll probably end up with another down day tomorrow. But again, I think we may be looking at putting in a bottom. So transports, again, outside day here. It will gap down tomorrow for sure, and they're not looking very good, but something to keep an eye on as we do get a reversal. The 10-year back down low 1%. Let's take a look at the weekly on that. So again, kind of an inside day if you forget about this tail. So we'll see what happens. The dollar has been super strong. We'll see that in a minute. So the Dow, let's just take a look at it on a weekly basis. This is the SARS chart that I keep bringing up here. I'm going to have to move that one. Again, sort of instructive here. You can see it find a bottom, and then we chop along here, and then we're going to put in a double bottom. So I'd be looking for some kind of a pattern like that. Let's take a look at the weekly on the Dow. Again, big week down here. Close near the lows of the day. Volume coming up. Again, we're building up volume here, so the more volume, when we get a really big spike in volume, I think that'll be another telltale sign. You can see here RSI really getting oversold. The IWM, let's just look at it on a weekly. Again, you can see here gap down, 2-week gapping down. Pretty big reversal off the low of the week. And again, really oversold. Again, I think we're due for a bit of a bounce here, and I think if they can get this stimulus package put through, if they can come to some agreement, I think that will be the catalyst that will take the market, at least in the short term, higher. We'll get a short covering bear market rally, which I've been saying all along can be a real rip your face off rally, but be careful not to get too optimistic on that type of a price action. So you can see here the Qs were down. We're still not near the December 2018 lows, so we've got a lot more to go if we're going to drop here. We're right at some levels, prior levels of support and resistance. Resistance here, support here, resistance, support, support. So we're right at around those levels. You know, if we lose here, we could be down to 160. But I'm thinking we may hold this. Now we'll talk about some charts in a minute. The SPY, let's take a look at it on the weekly. Again, pretty far down. Let's take a look at it on a monthly chart here. Again, this is a level here where this 2100 could be important if we did get through this 2350, which we talked about here. That was the low on December 3rd, 2018, and we made it through that, and we may end up heading lower here. Again, let's skip ahead. The dollar, let's take a look at the dollar. This could be one of the reasons gold isn't doing so well. I mean, just look at how strong the dollar has been. We may continue to go higher on the dollar, safety currency, believe it or not. And the VIX. VIX kind of topped out here. We may pop up again tomorrow. But again, it looks like we're putting in some topping action. And again, if we get a stimulus whistle, this should drop significantly. So let's just take a look at the few things. Got a number of things I've got on watch here. I think I'd be looking on all of these stocks. I'll make the same comment pretty much through the stocks that I go through. I'd be looking for these lows to hold. So if we gap down tomorrow, if you like any of these stocks, I'd be looking at these lows like on Baidu. I'd be looking at an 83 level. If it gaps down and then drops, I'd be looking for a bounce at 83. This is the GLD, again, big sell-off. I'll talk a little bit about GLD just for a second here because people have been asking about Nugget and JNUG. And, you know, the gold has sold off a little bit, but JNUG and Nugget, the miners, that's the ETF for the miners, has really taken a pounding. And really, it's nothing more than people just selling everything, selling gold, selling the miners, you know, selling anything that they own to get liquid. Bitcoin, same thing, took a huge, huge hit. I think it was like down $3,000 or something like that on one day. So, you know, when we get into a situation like this, people just sell everything, ask questions later. And this is the opportunity that smart people with calm and try to keep the emotions out of it. This is where, you know, people that are strategic can take advantage of these panic, just sell everything. And sometimes people have to sell everything if they're hedge funds or they're highly leveraged and they're getting margin calls. They don't have a choice. So everything goes on sale. So this is when you have the cash in hand, you can take advantage. Here's KWeb here. I'd be looking for it to hold 40. Well, there's 39. There's some lows here. Higher low, higher low. So what was a low on here? 40.19. Yeah, I'd be looking for this one to hold 40 or maybe 39 and a half. Again, on this selling is the volume's kind of drying off, drying up. Even on the selling, the volume was lower. So KWeb could be a real interesting buy if we get down to that 40 level. LK is not looking very constructive here. It could end up back down here around 22 and a half before we see maybe a bit of a bounce here, but it really held in here for a while with all the selling, but now it's it's really having struggling. Triple M, this is looking not very healthy. Here's another good one, MU. I've been reading about the semiconductors and how the semiconductor pricing is actually going up in this period, and still lots of demand for computing power, storage, and I think this is a stock that really you could buy here. You must almost and put away. Um, Again, I think the fundamentals are good on it, and if you can pick it up down here at sort of 34 and a half. What was the low here? Low here was 33.65. Uh, Opened at 34.60ish. Yeah, I mean, if it pulls back at the open tomorrow, I think this could be a decent buy. I'm not saying this is the bottom, but I think that this could be something again that that will, when the market does turn, we get through this. This will be a great investment. So if you're gonna you start picking away at stocks, this could be a good one. This is the short crude. It just launched here. You can see this has been really super volatile. We had a pop back in crude prices, and so this dropped significantly. So you can see the range on this. This is scary. I haven't looked at the oil prices today, whether it's traded. Here's another one that's kind of interesting. Ferrari race. You can see here it's basically kind of holding this 130 level. Again, I guess luxury cars still going to be a demand. You only make a certain number of them, and people know that that's where should hold up, even despite the fact that Italy's really in some dire straits right now with this COVID crisis. But this again, if we get a bit of a sell-off down to 135, you could pick this up tomorrow, and then maybe hold it through the if we do get a pop this week, sell some, hold on to some space. I'd be looking for a space to hold 10 if we get a drop in the morning. Here's another one, team, just pick it up if it gets down to sort of in this 120 level. TNA, again, 10 could be your, let's just see here, where's the low? 10.20 could be your target. These are the ones that are really do well if, we do get a rip your face off rally. These are, triple times shares. So, if you're going to take advantage of a real short-term rip your face off rally, it's good to maybe look at some of these 3 times shares. But again, there is their additional risk here as well. TVIX did touch $1,000. Look at that, high 1,000, unbelievable. I wouldn't be taking it now. It's just really super extended, but maybe it'll pop again tomorrow. I doubt it'll get back. I doubt we'll see 1,000 anytime soon. USO, again, we had a down day Friday. And Zoom's like holding this. Zoom's been one of the stocks that this chart looks totally unfamiliar. You'd usually, with most of these charts, you'd have to flip Zoom over to get a accurate, most to make it look like most of the charts. But Zoom's been going the other way. Lots of people using Zoom. So if we do get a pullback, 125 could be a great entry if it actually gets there. And yeah, so have a plan for tomorrow. Know some levels on some stocks that you're interested in, and set alerts or whatever you're going to do to flag them when they hit that level, because those are levels that they may bounce off of if we do get a gap down in the morning and a bit of a sell-off first half hour. Look for those to rebound back. And let's just see here. Actually, let's take a look at a few more Before I move on, ABBV, again, 67-ish, could be a good entry. Coke is, I thought Coke would hold in there, man. It just, it's horrible. I don't know what's going on there. Microsoft again holding this 135 level. This is critical back here, and we'll see if it can hold 135 tomorrow. Space we already looked at. Verizon, there's another one, 51. See if it can hold 51, or just below it. Let's take a quick look at the nugget before we move out. And there's an example. Look at this thing. A week or so ago, it was trading up around 28, 25, 30. Now it's $5. So again, we get a rally. I think the gold miners will participate, and nugget could be something you could jump into. Not a lot of downside. I mean, sure, it can go lower, but again, on a rally with these 3-time shares, you could probably bank some decent coin, but be very careful. I don't think any rallies are going to last too long. So this is it. This is my book, How to Swing Trade. It's on Amazon if you haven't checked it out yet. And that's about it. We'll be in the Bear Bull Trading Room. Pre-market show starts at 8:30, and Norm will be leading things off. Possibly Peter will be there, and we'll take you through some of the stocks that we'll be watching for the open, and then we'll be day trading at the open, and we'll see what happens. But enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. We'll see you in the room if you're going to join us in the morning, and we're live on YouTube as well. Have a good night, everyone. Bye for now.